I was always a fat kid. It wasn't till I attended school that I even realized that I was different. Names like Bunker, a portmanteau of Bruce and Chunker, or perhaps Bruce the Bull were tossed around. To those who didn't know me directly, it was more classical, like Wide Load or Fat Can, whatever the name. I was flabbergasted by this verbal abuse. As a young child, I didn't look at myself in the mirror a whole lot. I saw my ma, a thin woman fond of leopard print and cigarettes. She wasn't like me, but again, if you never conceive your own form, you simply think you look like everyone else. It's like that story of the pig that thought it was a dog, and the dog that thought it was a pig. They never saw what they looked like. They just saw each other. Now, I wouldn't want to see the day when that pig attended school. Talk about a day in hell. Nonetheless, me being bullied didn't make me lose weight, to the contrary, I gained. I was raised by my mother only, as my dad ran off when I was really young. Ma said he just walked out, and never came back. She said he told her he would too. None of this fake out shit, going out to buy milk. He said he wasn't coming back, and he meant it. I didn't miss him much, only when I saw other kids with their dads. Me and Ma didn't go out much, so these instances were rare. Ma never had any boyfriends that I knew of. It was just me and her. The only times we went out was to eat. Like every American family in the early 90s, our go-to was McDonald's. The Golden Arches were a magical place for me. I got to eat and play with kids I actually had things in common with. Eating and tumbling through plastic tubes. Here, I wasn't an outsider. Not all the other kids were fat, but they couldn't distance themselves from me when they loved the food just as much as I did. Sometimes me and Ma would eat in the car, so Ma could enjoy her unhealthy habit too. I would grab French fries by the fistful, and she would toss cigarette butts out the window, one right after the other. Sometimes she would let her cigarette cook for too long, and her ashes would fly into my ketchup. I would moan about it, and she'd trade hands so that the ashes would fall out the window instead. She often daydreamed when we sat in the car. I think she got dad nostalgia when she saw families together too. Since I wasn't much for outside activities, I found myself drawing a lot. A bully-turned-friend, Bobby was the first to bring me a notebook. He was the kid that coined the name, Bruce the Bull, but he was actually a cool kid. We were enemies at school, but friends the rest of the time. He just didn't want to get bullied himself. Whenever I had a rough day, he would sneak into my room through my window and bring me a bag of Haribo bears. I found that to be a fair trade. Anyway, once Ma realized I was taking an interest in drawing, she bought me composition notebooks, and though they were lined, they were only $1, so it was within my mother's budget. It was a toy that was cheap and kept me busy, so Ma always encouraged me to keep drawing and improving. I didn't get my love of drawing from comic books, but rather the weekly cartoons that were in our local paper. They were short, quippy, funny, and politically intriguing. I learned a lot from them, and had a lot of laughs over them too. Ma didn't always find them funny though. I remember her telling me, "You can make cartoons, just don't produce that kind of slop." I think she disagreed with the cartoonists' politics. But that didn't matter to me. I was just amazed at the idea that Ma could see me as a cartoonist. I considered, if drawing cartoons was a job, I was in money. Lots of it. Of course, this was a child's interpretation of how the world worked. I wouldn't be able to live off my tunes till I was in my mid-30s. But that comes way later. This incident happened to me when I was 24. By this age, I was living in a small townhouse in Michigan. I had one of those granny tricycles, and I rode it down to the gas station, where I worked the night shift.